On January 5, 2016, Rick Snyder, Michigan's 29th governor, declared a state emergency for the county including the city of Flint. This was not the beginning of the emergency. The emergency had begun 1 year ago when high levels of bacteria, lead, and chloride byproducts were allowed into the water supply. On April 25, 2014, Flint switched from Detroit's water system to the Flint River to save money. Residents began to have concerns about the taste, smell, and discoloration of the water. To this, officials stated, Flint water is safe to drink. In August and September, it was announced that the water was only safe to drink if boiled. Then, in October, weather, aging pipes, and population decline became the new scapegoats of the later announced emergency. In January of 2015, the state-appointed emergency manager declined an offer to switch back to the safe water supply. In February, the government stated that the water was not a threat to public health. However, 18 days into February, 104 parts per billion of lead were found inside of home water. Later in March, 397 parts per billion were also found in home waters. To put this into perspective, 15 parts per billion is the maximum amount of lead allowed. Later in September, Virginia Tech detected high levels of lead within children's blood. However, state regulators continued to insist that the water was safe. These high levels of lead were eventually accepted, and accepting defeat, the state emergency was declared on January 5, 2016. The problem originated from the salts and chemicals used to melt ice that had frozen to the roads. This now melted ice would not seep into the ground, rather it would run off into the Flint River. The lack of man-made oxidizing agents and the runoff was what led the Flint River to become corrosive. When it was corrosive, it would leach lead from the city's lead pipes and make the water lead-infested. A lack of chlorine led to an increase of bacteria in the water, particularly a severe form of pneumonia called Legionnaire's disease. With 87 infected and 12 dead, this is the worst outbreak of Legionnaire's disease recorded in U.S. history. On top of this, lead poisoning in children can lead to a release of neurotoxin, which can lead to cognitive and behavioral issues such as low IQ and ADHD. Other than basic hospital care for both ailments, children with lead poisoning are available for 24-hour mental and schooling services to help them deal with any issues. Researchers have also been fighting for the people's rights so that they may be protected against Legionnaire's disease. So far, free water bottles have been the solution to this crisis. However, only 13 to 16% of Flint residents actually recycle. However, when not recycled, water bottles can absorb toxins. Around 10% of these water bottles end up back in the ocean. The rest of them find their way into ecosystems and water supplies.